As President Biden's term winds down, he's giving a warning to foreign leaders about what North Korea might do in the coming months. Also, a plane grounded in Dallas after someone fired at it before takeoff. What investigators know so far. But first, bright and sunny today, but not tomorrow morning. Thanks for joining us. I'm Nabil Ramadna. With me, meteorologist Tommy House. And you were saying that we're going to have some maybe bad weather in the morning, but it might clear up in the afternoon.
Yeah, we're seeing a few light showers right now. That's not the severe weather. We had some breaks of sun earlier in the day, but tomorrow is going to be a very active day. Let's talk about that. First, here's the Austonian weather camera, 83 degrees. Hope y'all having a great start to your Sunday and overall a fantastic weekend in general. So you can see a few low-level clouds there. We had some light showers beginning to pop up, and overall temperatures will continue to be in the mid-80s at this hour. 85 down in Lockhart and San Marcos and east of I-35, 80 in LaGrange, 84 in Rockdale. We'll deal with the low 70s out toward Mason County, where we're seeing a little bit more of that widespread rain coverage. Dew points are in the low to mid-70s. You can definitely feel the humidity out and about ahead of this cold front. That'll work its way through tomorrow morning. We'll have a bit more drier out toward Gillespie County with a dew point of 59. A few tiny light showers building in now right along the I-35 corridor. Some light rain toward Mason, Llano, and San Saba County. Again, this isn't the severe weather. Notice you'll be seeing some of these light pockets of showers continue to build in. So we'll talk about this timeline and what are the specific threats for your Monday. The afternoon looks sunny for your Monday with cooler air building in as a second front moves through Tuesday into Wednesday. We'll talk about that on First One Weather here in just a bit. So we'll have the details on that and also regarding the tropics. All right, tropical depression Sarah made landfall in Honduras and stalled over the Central American nation this weekend. The weather system made landfall late Thursday near the Honduras-Nicaragua border. Sarah drenched the northern coast of Honduras as well as parts of the Costa Rica, swelling rivers and trapping some people at home. In the city of San Pedro Sula, the storm cut off access to an entire community when a river crossing washed away. The Hurricane Center expects the storm will move near the Bay Islands of Honduras before approaching Belize and turning northwesterly toward Mexico's Yucatan Peninsula. The region could see life-threatening flash flooding and mudslides.
All right. Thank you, Tommy. Organic whole and baby carrots sold at the grocery store chains across the country are being recalled over a deadly E. coli outbreak. Grimway Farms, headquartered in Bakersfield, California, has voluntarily recalled the carrots after the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention found they may be associated with the outbreak. The CDC says 39 people have been infected, 15 people were hospitalized in 18 states, and one person has died after eating the organic carrots sold by Grimway Farms. The recalled carrots are sold in bags under multiple brand names. They're also no longer sold in stores, but the CDC says to check your refrigerator and throw away any carrots that fit this description. Meanwhile, officials working on President-elect Donald Trump's transition team are considering creating a commission to investigate the 2021 withdrawal from Afghanistan. That's according to a U.S. official and a person familiar with the plan. The transition team is compiling a list of senior, current, and former U.S. military officers who are directly involved in the withdrawal. Now, the commission would be tasked with gathering information about who was directly involved in the decision making, how it was carried out, and whether the military leaders could be eligible for charges as serious as treason. However, it's not clear what would legally justify treason charges since the military officers were following the orders of President Joe Biden. President-elect Donald Trump has previously condemned the withdrawal as a humiliation and one of the most embarrassing days in the history of our country. President Joe Biden is in South America meeting with world leaders as time runs out on his presidency. Washington correspondent Vinay Simlot explains the president's trip and current threats against the U.S.
With just over 2 months left in his term, President Joe Biden met with the leaders of Japan and South Korea.
This is likely to be my last trilateral meeting with this important group.
U.S. officials warn North Korea may take advantage of the transition between President Biden and President-elect Donald Trump to carry out missile tests. And they say North Korea has also sent troops to Russia in its fight against Ukraine.
Whatever the issue, we're taking it on together.
As President Biden finishes his term here on Capitol Hill, lawmakers say they're watching closely to see how President-elect Trump's administration handles our nation's adversaries.
President Trump is the one president whether it was a Republican or a Democrat in the past, that really stood up to China.
Republicans like Pat Fallon and Democrats like Senator Mark Warner have cheered President-elect Trump's choice for Secretary of State, Senator Marco Rubio. Rubio has warned about the alliance between China, Iran, North Korea, and Russia against the U.S.
He does bring a level of seriousness to the important job of Secretary of State.
But Democrats say they're concerned about the nomination of Tulsi Gabbard for Director of National Intelligence.
She has a strong record of pushing literal Russian propaganda.
I've admired her because she was loaded up with common sense.
If confirmed, Gabbard would lead the nation's spy agencies and advise the president. In Washington, I'm Vinay Simlot.
Police are investigating after a Southwest airplane was reportedly struck by gunfire at Dallas Airport Friday night. Passengers reported that the plane was preparing to take off from Dallas to Indianapolis when it was struck by a bullet shortly before takeoff. Former KXAN reporter Tahira Rahman gives us a look into this investigation.
It was an unexpected announcement from their Southwest Airlines pilot on Friday night.
He said there's a rattle outside of the plane and they needed to return back to the gate.
Shannon and Jamie Lee were heading to Indianapolis with two of their kids. They were still on the runway at Dallas Love Field.
After that, he had said that the plane sustained some damage, I think is what he said, on the front, and that we would have to exit the plane.
Police thought it was a simple mechanical failure and waited to get onto another plane. What they didn't know, gunfire had hit near the cockpit around 8:30 p.m. Dallas police saying there were no injuries and temporarily closing the runway while they investigated.
You can see air traffic is running smoothly. A spokesperson for Love Field says that their runways have been operating normally on Saturday and that officials are cooperating with Dallas police on the investigation as needed.
My first thought is like, holy cow, somebody just shot a gun and it hit a commercial aircraft.
Retired Navy captain and naval flight officer Armin Kurdian says investigators will start by figuring out where the bullet came from based on where it pierced and how deep.
The fact that it hit so very close to the cockpit seems too much of a coincidence. The odds of that happening, I think, got to be really, really high.
He says even if the gunman wasn't aiming intentionally, it opens a security vulnerability.
Did this put an idea into, say, a non-state or a state actor as, oh, maybe this is something we can do to disrupt air travel?
The Lees didn't learn about their close call until they landed in Indianapolis.
We fly quite a bit, and our kids fly on their own, so it is concerning.
They're grateful for how Southwest handled the initial discussion, but say they should have known about the gunfire before getting onto another plane.
You have to give people a choice whether they want to put their safety at risk a second time in one night.
They're now hoping for answers and safety measures before writing off one of their favorite airports and airlines for good.
Well, it was good music for a great cause this weekend as Soccer Assist held its 9th annual soccer social and fundraiser. They're a nonprofit that hopes to give underprivileged children a chance to play soccer through various programs and by building mini soccer pitches across the city. Their founder says it's been making a huge difference.
We find those pitches to have a huge impact, and also something I think people like to give towards because it's doable, it's tangible, it makes a difference, it brings community together, and that's what we're all about, and that's what sports is about.
Now, if you missed this weekend but want to help out, don't worry, they have other events coming up and said they're always looking for more volunteers.
KXAN.com/allergy has 24/7 updates for your pollen. We have two of our elements being medium. The other two are low. We'll talk about the severe threats and timing. We'll start rainy tomorrow, then sunshine by the afternoon hours.
Well, Christmas is more than a month away, but many groups are collecting toys and donations to make sure every child has a happy holiday. One of those groups here in Central Texas is the Marine Corps Reserve, who's in charge of Toys for Tots. There they are marching on the Veterans Day Parade. The Austin chapter is in charge of collecting and distributing new and unwrapped toys for families in need. Organizers say they're still in need of toys and donations and will continue to collect them for the next 2 weeks. Also, if you're a family looking for a new gift, well, applications are available online until December the 4th. The local chapter says last year they received about 45,000 toys and distributed those to 20,000 children.
It means a lot to me to be able to help these kids have a Christmas that they deserve, because every kid deserves a good Christmas. This year we're a little bit down on our donations. However, we still do have 2 weeks left, and we still have a lot of drop boxes out within Austin. We have over 200 drop sites within the 8 counties that we cover.
Now, organizers tell us that the 13 to 14-year-old age range, as well as newborn to 2-year-olds, are the big need. If you'd like to help, we will have a link up on our website coming up shortly here. Always fun to give back during the holidays, and you know, a lot of these organizations, they do a lot. I mean, a lot of kids, you don't realize it, but they wake up on Christmas morning, no presents. Not a fun feeling if you're a parent.
Absolutely, yeah. It's great to see charity and just giving back to the community.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let's talk about these storms, right? They're going to be a busy start to your Monday morning.
But the Monday could change, as you said.
I know. You said you may head out to the hill country the afternoon. It'll be nice. So it's kind of a roller coaster of weather ahead of us. Let's talk about it right now. First, here's the radar. Notice a few light showers north of Austin. Those have just popped up toward the Georgetown area to our east and west of us. You'll see some building rain. This is not the severe weather expected. That's for tomorrow morning. Localized Doppler right along Georgetown. Right along Briggs, Bartlett, up toward Temple on I-35 here. This is north of the metro area. I'd keep an umbrella and rain jacket on standby if you are just anywhere around the place, because we're going to be dealing with these showers continuing to build in. So overnight tonight, we'll see some light scattered shower activity, and ahead of that cold front, that's the severe weather that we could be watching build toward our area out the door early for your Monday. Let's talk about rain coverage real quickly, building through the early morning hours. Then notice by around 8 a.m. to noon in the following day, we have a big drop off from a widely numerous back down to a isolated. So it's going to be a morning event. We have some severe weather, level 2 out of 5 for portions of the hill country here overnight tonight. We'll see that drop off east of I-35 back down to that non-severe category. For your early Monday morning, we're all under that level 1 out of 5. So we'll still have the chance for very low end severe weather to talk about. With the specific threats here, hail. Biggest concern is some chance for some damage and winds up to 60 miles per hour. Some localized flooding and a brief spin up. I can't rule out with these linear structures of storms, but this is a very quick hitting event. So here's the timeline: 4 to 8 a.m. for the hill country, 8 to 11 a.m. for the Austin metro area, and east of I-35, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. for your Monday. So very fast with this cold front. Here's a localized picture here out the door early tomorrow morning for the morning commute. Hill country between 5 and 7 a.m. and notice the Austin area between around 7 and 9 a.m. could be seeing some heavy rain on the way to work. So just add a few extra minutes to your morning drive already when you are going to be heading out the door tomorrow. Umbrella and rain jacket. But notice by the late morning, sunshine returning into the afternoon hours. So the rest of your Monday looks pretty good. It's not going to be a washout with a quick hitting system like this. 1/4 of an inch to an inch at most. Down toward the San Antonio area, less than 1/4 of an inch. We're in extreme drought, so every single drop counts there. High temperature trend will stay in the upper 70s for your Monday, Tuesday 80, and then Wednesday, that's when we could be dropping to the upper 60s, and then we'll pick back up to the upper 70s as we head across the later half of this upcoming week. So 67 tonight, those storms move in late, and then during the morning hours tomorrow, very fast between around 7 and 10 a.m. in the Austin area. Afternoon should be sunny and plentiful with drier air. Winds will be gusty up to 30 miles per hour. Your first warning weather 7-day forecast, nothing but sunshine beyond tomorrow. 80 on your Tuesday, 69 on Wednesday, 74 on Thursday. Overnight lows in the low 40s. Make sure to stay weather aware. Download our KXAN First Warning Weather app, or for severe weather coverage, check us out at KXAN.com.
This is KXAN Sports, brought to you by Thomas J. Henry.
Hi, good evening. Longhorns went to Arkansas first and foremost looking to stay atop the SEC standings. At the same time, exact a little revenge for that beatdown in 2021. It was a spectacular day in Fayetteville. Offense sluggish a bit, but well, the defense has been doing it all year long, and they have been so good on those tip balls. And Jahdae Barron with his team-high 4th interception, and the Longhorns would be in business. Texas taking advantage of the turnovers. Quinn Ewers with that pump fake, and Matt Golden wide open. Texas taking a 7-0 lead. But again, the points were tough to come by, but they were even tougher to come by for Arkansas. Jerry Jones in the house. He was on that 64 national championship team with Jimmy Johnson at Arkansas. Tough day for Taylon Green, Colin Simmons, and Barron Sorrell. collapsing for the sack. And then it is Trey Moore. He had 14 at UTSA last year. That's his first as a Longhorn. And Texas finally gets a little more offense going in the first half on a 3rd and 2. They've been so good using those backs out of the backfield. Trey Wisner for 30. They go up 13-0. Second half, it's 13-10, and Jaden Blue fumbles, but sometimes you need a break. And that was it. Longhorns were driving for just their second touchdown of the game when they absolutely had to have it. Ewers rolling, and Golden somehow hanging on, showing some strong hands. So they get the separation at 20-10. He caught both touchdowns. He leads the SEC with 8. And then the defense. How about big Alfred Collins making the play from behind Michael Taft with the recovery, and that did it. Longhorns able to ice it away. Collins talking this week. Barron talking this week about being there in 21. And on the final play, it's Quinn Ewers on his zone read on 4th down, and you can see his emotion as he helps Texas go into Arkansas, get the win, and stay near the top of the SEC standings. And again, defense wins.
Like I told the team in there, like, don't let these moments go by without taking it in, because these are the memories that are going to last a lifetime, and they're going to remember being in that locker room today, especially the guys that were here a few years ago and what that felt like. So we were, as coaches, we're the same way. We had to walk off that field a few years ago too, with thousands of people on the field running around us.
I was telling the guys that was here today and stuff like that when we were going out the tunnel, 2021, just remember it. And I kept asking Sorrell, remember 2021, and just remember it, and just remember what we went through and things like that, and not to let that happen again. So it was a good road win.
We talk about when we work to be the best defense in the nation, and that's when you got to show up. I mean, it's 10-0, and yeah, the offense might be starting off slow, but my message to the defense is if they don't score, they don't win.
Since that Georgia game, do you feel like you guys are playing more championship level?
Yeah, I think so. I think it kind of like a little wake-up call for us and myself, for sure. We understand what we need to do, and I think that's what good teams do.
Yeah, at this point, it's just find a way. Next up, Longhorns' final regular season home game. They take on Kentucky Saturday at 2:30. Wildcats beat Murray State out of conference yesterday. That snapped a 4-game losing streak. That was after beating then number 6 Ole Miss for their only SEC win. SEC volleyball, and, well, we'll talk about Texas State first. Last night, taking on Southern Miss, and you talk about a beatdown. Jordan McLeod with 4 touchdowns. They score on 9 of 11 possessions, 703 yards, so they get bowl eligible. So now we can call it a tradition because it's 2 years in a row. They go to the San Marcos River, and they jump in to celebrate the fact that they are going bowling. They still have 2 more ball games to go, and they are not out of the race for that Western Division Championship in the Sun Belt. They're home against Georgia State. Still a shot. They have a trail by a game, rather, to Louisiana. Louisiana does have the tiebreak as the Raging Cajuns beat Texas State. Texans Cowboys tomorrow in Arlington. Cowboys trying to avoid a 5-game losing streak for the first time in 9 years. Texans trying to stay 2 up on the Colts. Texas women's basketball in about an hour at DePaul in Chicago. They take the floor. And Texas volleyball team. You know, it's all about football in the SEC, but boy, where they go, the fans go. A record crowd in Alabama today, over 3,800 to watch the Crimson Tide against the 2-time defending champs. Crimson Tide, no match for the Longhorns. They take set 1. Things got a little bit dicey in set 2, but they win it. And then in set 3, yeah, Madison Skinner right there, and that's it. Longhorns win in 3 sets. They're going to Oklahoma next week. They've already announced that as a sellout as well. So, benefiting from Texas volleyball in the SEC.
I was going to say, the SEC also making some great matchups. Texas, Alabama. It's fun to see all these big teams.
Have those words ever been uttered around the country? Benefiting in volleyball.
True, absolutely.